free advice, all you got to do is put them on the comment section. Literally, I will come up. My team actually will shortlist all the questions that I should be answering, and then we'll take them up one by one, and we will answer them for you guys so that you guys could actually benefit. Okay. Obviously, while we're in the live, you still have that opportunity to ask me questions, right? So I'm not going to not take your questions. So you've got the opportunity. If you're joining live from YouTube or Instagram, you're welcome to ask me questions. Okay. So let's go through some of these questions. Said Sanol asks, could you make a video about inheritance law in UAE? Who will have rights on the property after the owner passed away? Obviously, they mean passes away or expires or dies, right? Look, guys, here's the thing. This is, first I'm going to tell you guys this. I've done a full video. I've done a full, what do you call this? A full interview series by a wills expert. What do I mean by a wills expert? Okay, guys, thanks very much for joining in on Instagram. Oh, we've got tons of people there. Oh, everybody. Naveed, Mawish, Chitra, Shamik, Naveed Rams, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Stories, Miko Yandra, Amir Fayaz. Okay, guys, thanks very much. Don't hesitate to send me your questions, right? Coming back to this wills topic, guys, it is very critical. Ooh, sorry guys about that echo. I was supposed to have already reduced it here. Okay, check this out. Wills in Dubai are super important if you purchase a property here, okay? I have done an interview with a wills expert. His name is Mohammed Maria. He runs his own company called Just Wills. He's been doing this for the last 25 plus years. This gentleman is a grandfather, doesn't look like one, looks very young, but that's the kind of experience he has both from the UK, internationally, and Dubai. Okay, Team Will reference that interview series. I talk about inheritance to him, I talk about how to make things easy, smooth, so on and so forth. Okay, guys? So it's super important. You should have a will that's made in the UAE and registered with the Dubai courts over here. Okay, my team's going to link that video at the bottom and explain that to you guys on how you guys can then, you can reach out to this expert actually, essentially speaking. Hi again, Lamasani 22, Miko Yandra, thank you for joining. Irfan Official, thank you. It's me, Batsha 100. Thanks guys for joining in. You guys can send me questions. I'm here for another 20 minutes or so and I will answer. Okay, let's take another question. Tariq Sayed. I have a query regarding a property I would like to buy in Furjan area, 5 minutes from the metro. It's a 3-year building from Bleep. Okay, so I don't want to mention the developer name at the moment. And the studio that he's looking to purchase is about 425,000 dirhams. He says it's purely for investment purpose. Do you think it's a good idea to invest here? And after how many years should I consider flipping it for a profit? Okay, I think, Tariq, it's a good idea to invest there. It's a good idea to invest generally in Dubai. But I think you're going at this a little bit slightly skewed, okay? You're buying a ready property for investment, okay? And the building's already 3 years old and it's going to cost you about 425,000 dirhams. I think what's going to happen is you're going to be able to get decent rental income out of this if you have a solid property manager in place managing your property, or even if you're doing it yourself. What do I mean by decent rental income? I think you're going to be able to get about, so let's say 425, let's say you make about 7% net, it's going to be about 29,000 dirhams, or let's say 30,000. I think you're going to be able to move or clear about 30,000 dirhams, give or take, depends on how the market goes, okay? Now, you've brought in a completely different aspect. When can I flip? Here's the thing, guys. When you buy this studio, you're going to pay 4% on top of this price to buy just for the registration, plus 2% agency fee. That's about 6% plus 1% ancillary fees for a few things here and there, okay? So remember how I calculated that you're going to make 7% rental income in the first year? You're paying 7% extra just to buy this property. Now, when you're going into buying this property with the mindset that I'm going to flip this, or I want to flip it to make a profit, think about it. Your first year's rental income is just covering your purchase costs, not the purchase price, the purchase cost, which is the 4% Dubai Land Department transaction fees plus the 2% agency fees. Now, when you go out into the market to resell it, you're going to have to generally pay a 2% agency fee for brokers to be able to be incentivized to sell you and work on your property as well. We generally do that, right? We charge a 2% agency fee to sell your property as well. So every time you buy, there's buying in fees. Every time you sell, there's selling fees. We call these breakage fees, okay? So why are you looking at property? Now, this is my question. Why do you have to do this? Why do you need to flip? Why not just buy and hold it for the next 10 years, 20 years? Pass it on to the next generation. Perhaps pass it on to yourself after 10 years, yeah? The thing is, as time goes by, the property you've mentioned, the area that you've mentioned, this property is most likely going to go down in quality, okay? Unless by some miracle, the homeowners association takes care of this building. What I've seen in the last 20 years is that buildings tend to go downwards unless they really put in a lot of effort to keeping them up there, right? Now, inflation is 6%. So, in about 5 years, 5 into 6, you need this property price to have gone up by 30% just to keep with inflation. Because let's say you bought it for 425 and you sell it for 30% higher, 552, you didn't really make money, because at 552, inflation being at 6% after 5 years, what's going to happen? You're still stuck in the same boat, right? You still got the same amount of money. All that money actually did was grow or hedge you against inflation. So if you keep 425 today in the bank account, 5 years later, it's going to be worth, let's say inflation is 6%, it's going to be worth 298. So the best thing you've done is at least you've matched this property with inflation. So you've got more money today if you sell it. Good. But why sell it in the first place? Because quality is going to be going down. If you sell it, you're just going to flip it at inflation rate, this particular property, 30% over 5 years or 30% over 3 years. Have you really made a gain? Instead, if you're looking to flip, the way to acquire properties is a different mindset. If you're looking to get rental, because you know what you're doing, right? It's possible, Tariq. I'm not saying everybody's doing this. You're trying to go in for the safest investment, which is that it's ready today. You get the rental income started now. But then you want to flip as well. Well, choose one. Choose one. Because choose one or balance both, okay? And understand that this property will not flip super well for you, okay? So as long as you understand that, you're going to be okay. Suleiman Narayan, thanks very much for joining. Naveed, what is your prediction, suggestion, buying property in Warsan 4th? Warsan 4th, please correct me again. Lama Sami, Amro's wife, hello, welcome. He was just here. Hello. Hi, Lama. Bless you, sister. Amro was right here right now. We were having a little discussion. What is your prediction and suggestion of buying a property in Warsan 4th? Just remind me again, this is International City? Close to International City? Is that where it is? Warsan 4th is freehold, still under development, but great location. Just remind me where Warsan 4th is. Yeah, if it's still underdeveloped, depends on who the master developer is. It could come up into something really good. In-depth talks about how Dubai, I am moving to Dubai in a month. Great, congratulations, welcome. Just been to Dubai once before, okay, that's fine. Some people move to Dubai without ever visiting. I was just exploring Dubai map and just looking at the map. In first glance, I thought Creek Harbor must be the most expensive neighborhood. It's not, it's considerably undervalued. Then I explored and found that it's not, that's correct. Somehow I landed on your video here. My gut feeling got reconfirmation. This place will be the most expensive place in the future. Yeah, it's possible. Naveed Rums, yes, International City Phase 2. Yeah, it could go up. You've got to be careful what you're buying. And you've got to go in and buy really, really proper deals, right? So if you look at the master developer, I know the master developer is Nakhil. Just go to International City. Okay, and bless Nakhil, they've done their best and they've really tried hard and they've tried to manage it as best as possible. But if you go into international city, I think it's matured into its own community today. I was one of the first people over there taking handovers of buildings with my father back in 2007. And the place was pristine, clean, amazing, right? It doesn't look the same today. And the Nakhil's done their best and they keep trying to make the community come up. But it's sometimes you kind of feel like they've left it on its own as well. Warsaw 4th, which is International City Phase 2, is much, much better. Last time I was there was maybe a year and a half ago. And you know, the place looks amazing. It's got great retail shops. The only thing is you've got to be really careful. And not careful, like guys, like this is what you've got to do, okay? In International City Phase 2, if you're buying a studio or 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, you've got to go there with a hunter's mindset, with a sniper rifle, okay? You go in there, you go and look for that one deal that comes up where you're cash ready to deploy. Make friends with the realtors there so that they can actually get you those deals, okay? And of course, that doesn't mean that you buy in a bad building, you know? So you're looking for a good building, good quality, good value, low price, right? But coming back to the developer, you know, it's kind of like they're a little bit, they try, that's all I can say. RJ, I'm in off plan. If I pay full cash payment to the developer to avail a discount, is it possible to get title deed same day at the time of payment at trustee office? No. You've got to confuse this a little bit. If you're saying that in off plan, which means an off plan property where a developer is selling, can you pay at the trustee office and get the title deed at the same time? Technically, no, because the way the developer, Naveed Rams, thanks, you're welcome. Thanks for the question, guys. Keep them coming on YouTube and WhatsApp, Instagram. I will answer your questions. So check this out, all right? Check this out. If you're buying an off-plan property, what's going to happen is you're going to pay a deposit, do a booking form. Post that, you're going to pay the complete down payment, could be 10% or 20% or 5%. Then you get something called a sales and purchase agreement. This sales and purchase agreement, after you've signed it and after the developer signed it, the developer uploads it to the government department's website. The government land department then goes through it and issues you something called a pre-title deed or under construction title deed or okud, okay? That comes to you directly by email. So what you've just explained about paying at the trustee office is done on ready properties. In ready properties, yes, you get title deed pretty much same day or the next day. If your transaction's been done in the very, very late afternoon, which is close to closing time, then the documents might be submitted. You just don't get all the documents of you being the new owner the same day. You'll get them the next day. Generally speaking, it's pretty straightforward. Unanimous. Hi Fahad, I want to start a career as an off-plan realtor but totally lost where and how to start. Okay, that's fine. Congratulations that you want to start. Sorry that you're lost. It's okay. That's fine. Everybody goes through that feeling and then they grow from that. Which company to choose can mentor? Farouk Hassan, Assalamu alaikum. Thanks for joining in. Which company to choose can mentor, train and have a right platform in terms of authentic leads, etc. Okay, so I think I wrote this. Okay, here's the thing, guys. You guys really, I think you've got the first word right, mentor. Okay, so if you go into this, actually just remember M and go forth, right? Learn before you earn. Now I know, like some of you guys are coming into this industry because you've got to make ends meet. Like, you know, perhaps I'm not saying that this is true for everybody. Perhaps there aren't other opportunities for you. This is one end. This is some people. Most real estate agents do have other opportunities, but they want to make more money in real estate, okay? Here's the thing. Come in, seek money. God will give you money. Don't worry about it. But seek to learn. So the first word you've got, the M, the mentor, is perfect, right? So every company you go to, talk to them, ask them, hey, is there a mentorship program? Can I learn from somebody who's a senior here? Now, here's the deal, right? If a senior, somebody who's been in the industry for 5, 10, 20 years is going to teach you, I had a great mentor. He taught me, but I gave him back, right? What do I mean by giving back? He didn't charge me off the top or he didn't charge me per day fees. But all the work I did for him, all fees were split 50-50 with him, right? What do I mean by this? He'd been in the industry for 5-7 years before I joined. He knew what's what, he knew the connections, so he would just send them over to me, relying on me to do professional work. So let's say, for instance, he had 4 properties to sell. He would just pass them on to me and say, Fahd, do you want to work on these? And I'd say yes, like a hungry person. I'd work on them. I'd work my ass off on them, right? I'd do viewings at 10 p.m., 7 p.m., 8 p.m., 2 p.m. And these were not the most glamorous areas of Dubai, but I would do that, right? And I would bring the transaction completely to closure. And this mentor would just show up on the final day or once or twice before to do the final touches. Like he would guide, but I don't want to put him down. Like he would just show up, he would guide me, he'd be very polite with me. I owe a lot to him. After God, I thank him for teaching me the ropes, right? When it came down to the fees, I wanted the money as well, but we shared it 50-50. There's no question about it. I think he was, in fact, he was generous to share it with me 50-50 because technically speaking, he could have said, hey, Fahd, I'm going to give you less. But I was not smart enough at that time to recognize and say, yes, no problem. I'll take 20%. I'll take 10%. I'll do it for free, right? Because you're learning, right? So the mentorship is super important. But he was not that rough with me. He didn't make me work for free. He would just split the fees 50-50. And some of the agents today are going to get aggressive, like, hey, why should I do all the work and I split? Guys, you're not understanding. That learning you get from this mentor who's been in the industry 4 years before you shortens the time spent for you considerably. So just remember that first word, M, mentor, right? Then you go on to say about authentic leads and stuff like that. Guys, listen, get the right mentor, get the right company. You're going to be fine, right? I've got a question over here. How much rent can you get from a 450,000 apartment? Just go about 6 to 7%. That should give you a good idea, right? RJ, a tenant is already living. Fani Dunya, thank you for joining. Ankit Ojlar, thanks for joining. Ehtisham, Rashid. All right, guys, thanks very much for joining in. If you got questions, real estate or otherwise, please send them in. I'd be happy to answer, all right? Check this out, guys. So this is a good question. This is a question for a lot of people who are buying properties. RJ asks, a tenant is already living in a property. That's fine. So you bought an apartment where a tenant was already living. I have bought the same property, but tenant's rent agreement with previous owners still valid for a few months. Fine. So let's say it's valid for 4 more months, okay? In such a scenario, as a new owner, what can I do now? Noting that I want the tenant will leave the property after expiry of current agreement and I don't want to renew it. RJ, so here's the basics of the rules and the laws in Dubai. You, as the new owner of this property, now become the landlord to this tenant. But as the landlord to this tenant, what's your relationship? What shall the rent be? Are you free to decide on a new rent? Nope. You inherit the same contract that the original seller, who was the previous landlord, had with the tenant. That now becomes the relationship that the terms and conditions in that contract become the terms and conditions that govern the relationship now you have as the new owner and the seller with this tenant. That's number one. Of course, you can seek lawyer's advice. Okay, there's not legal advice or disclaimer, right? Well, serious disclaimer, like seek a lawyer, okay, for real advice. Now, if your old landlord or seller, if that old landlord or seller had 100,000 dirham, 4 check payment, or 5 million dirham, 4 check payment terms with the tenant, now you get the same. Okay? Do you have to make a new contract? I would suggest yes, because the old landlord is no longer, or you can allow this contract to just expire out and then make the new contract with the tenant. Now you say you want this tenant to leave the property. What is the reason you want this tenant to leave the property? Do you want to live in it yourself? Do you want to sell the apartment? Do you want to raise the rent? First 2 reasons, you're allowed to get the tenant out by giving him a 12-month notice through the notary public, which means what? You can approach the tenant and say, hey, I'd like to live in the property myself, or somebody who's your first degree relative wants to live in the property for you, and they don't have any other property and you have no other property. That's grounds for getting the apartment or property vacated. Or you want to sell the property. Again, you have the reasons to vacate. Or thirdly, if there's some serious work that needs to be done to rectify that apartment or property, which would cause harm to that tenant if not done. Now, all of these conditions, you've got to give the tenant 12-month notice to vacate the property. You've inherited the same contract, and now the same rules that apply through RERA, Real Estate Regulatory Agency, apply in this situation as well, okay? Brian Taylor from Instagram. I wonder if you reply me, what is the lowest cost for Dubai investor visa? In total, about 750,000 dirhams, okay? You can translate that into dollars. About $204,000. Actually getting the visa will cost you a little bit more sometimes. Jawad Motivola, thanks very much for joining. Mr. Musa joined, thanks very much. Arib Akil, hello. I'm finally on board with a real estate company in Dubai. Congratulations, well done. This will be a whole new career for me, so I'm hoping to connect with different realtors out there to catch up and learn from their experiences. Thanks. You're welcome. Look, the way to catch up with realtors is to get into the industry, start working, start calling them for inquiries that your clients might have. Then go to realtor events, like, you know, if Imar has a briefing on a new launch, or another company has like there's a lot of developers that are selling stuff. So if they have one of those briefings, you can always go to them and, you know, benefit and meet other realtors and integrate with them, right? Okay. Tedane Bah, how much rent can you get for I think I answered this. It's about 7 to 8%, 6 to 8%, depending on how much you're buying the property at. All right, guys. That's enough for the live. If you got questions coming through, I always answer them. If you have not had a chance to get the questions today, no problem. Put them in the comment section and we will answer next time. All right, guys, shall we say goodbye now? Thank you very much. I appreciate the time you spend with me on the live. Look forward to seeing you. And if you see me outside somewhere and you have a question, you're more than welcome to ask. Stop me. I'll give you my time, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever it takes. Ciao for now.